overnight.
Yes, and that's the part that you know that is, and that's why I speak to that vulnerability. Our food security is always at highest risk, always highest risk. You would take months to prepare a plot of land. You would plant, and you are now in preparation of reaping, and then something just happened. It's a night when we have a system. It could be a tropical wave, and that's it, and it's gone. And then the farmer would sit down, they would hold their heads because there's nothing you can do. But now we see that government is trying to see we can get the insurance for farmers, and so that you can ensure your hard work, you can get something back for it, even if you don't get to actually reap. But then the backup plan, if that's the case where they are destroyed, then what happens next? Where do we fall back on? What do we fall back on? So lots of comments. In addition to that, tourism. We just came off of a bumper carnival season, an extremely successful carnival, I think we must say. Last year, the Throne Speech focused on the security, national security. I mean, it's safe to say that we know that we are the safest in the world, but this year's carnival but we just came off a very successful carnival, and I think we must commend them. Yes, very, very safe. As a Grenadian, you feel proud to speak to this. Not an incident. Our police officers were at their best, and we must commend them for that. But that too, it sells Grenada.
True.
It is one of our products. Tourism continues to be at the top of the list. And remember, wherever there's tourism, there's job creation. Because you might just be within the creative sector, that you know that you have that talent where you can make something, it creates an income for you. So there are many opportunities in the midst of the general pillars of Vision 75, and it's important that as a people, as a nation, we understand where we fall in this. How can I benefit from it? What can I do?
And how can I contribute? That's one of the areas I think sometimes we overlook.
Yes.
But it is important for the citizenry to see themselves in and where they fit into the general vision of our leaders, and how they can benefit from, but also how they can help build out this future. I think one of the thrusts that the Prime Minister has been making from the time that he entered office is not so much that the government is going to do for you, but we're going to work in partnership. Even when he's in the Vision 75 delivery, as he elaborated on healthcare, admitting that there's a large part of healthcare that the responsibility falls to us.
It does.
We're the ones that eat what we eat. We're the ones that drink what we drink, and we kind of have to take personal responsibility for that. And I think the same applies to nation building and national development. There's the leaders can lead, but at the end of the day, the people have to do. They have to act as well.
Yes. One's personal safety, one's health is dependent on them. What we choose to put in. What we choose to put in we get the end product eventually, right? So the safer you are, the safer you can possibly be. Yes, there'll be accidents, but if it's the food, we have control over it. So we need to be responsible as to what we eat. We have a lot of farmers now. You go to the markets on a Saturday morning, during the week, our farmers are always outside. Our vendors are there, or the farmers are there themselves, and there's so much. We hear people from outside speaking about our delicacies, our dishes, and so we know that we love to cook, right? And we love using our local seasonings, our local foods. We have them available. Let us use them. We don't need what we need to go to the supermarket to do. We will. That's from time to time, but it's important we are mindful. Make health conscious decisions.
Yes.
That we become healthier. Because when we don't, then while our health care, we often complain about it, but then we pressure our healthcare system.
True.
Because we have to now constantly go to our doctors, rush to the emergency room, and it pressures. We have to do our part, and I think that is where it comes in, and everybody playing their part. How can I contribute?
I think my grandmother used to say an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And these words ring true even to this day. And in as you mentioned, personal responsibility, we did say thank you to the RGPF for their efforts over the carnival season, but it's also important to say thank you to the citizens, because it means that they chose to enjoy themselves and not get into mischief. Even with the efforts of the RGPF, I don't think the force by itself can corral 100,000 Grenadians. Not to mention the visitors that came in. So it's a really heartwarming thing to know that we behaved.
Yes, we did. And the thing is, because of everything that's happening around us, Russell, and we're hearing of all the gun violence all over the world, not here, we know that we are not immune to it. We do have spots of it here. And for the carnival to have gone up that way, excellent. Kudos to everyone. All the visitors came and they enjoyed themselves. The reviews on Carnival was excellent. Let's keep it that way. We are hospitable people, but we also have to be very mindful that just as how some people have seen it as we being hospitable, others may look at it as an opportunity to do other things. So
that's right.
Let's be very mindful of this. I believe we should have the Prime Minister that should be entering the yard soon. I'm hearing the sirens. I believe either him or the Governor General should be approaching. As we prepare, we have the Guard of Honor as they await the arrival of the Prime Minister and the Governor General after, all in preparation of today's presentation of the Throne Speech.
2025, 26. So we know that the Governor General is going to inspect the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force. She's going to give them the once over. You said it's a mini independence, yes.
Parade. So as we continue, as we see outside the Guard of Honor, they await the arrival. Education, another one of the pillars of the Vision 75. We see now that we have a lot of changes. Russell, I know you can passionately speak of education, being an educator for so many years, and you would always be one. Teachers never leave the job.
100%. 100%. I often say I am a career educator. I'm an educator at heart. It's not what I do, it's who I am as a person. And so you are correct, and there's been several advancements within education. So we look forward as we see the
Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister arriving.
Yeah. In the Parliament Yard, he will be accorded a general salute, and then he will enter the chamber.
He's going to be followed by the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, the clerks at table, and the Sergeant of Arms bearing the pieces as mentioned earlier.
Yes.
General salute. Present.
So there we had it. The Prime Minister now entering the chamber. I think we are now preparing for the Governor General's arrival. No, not quite. We have the Honorable Dr. Decima Williams, President of the Senate. The Honorable Leo Cato, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the clerks at the table They will now enter the chamber following the Prime Minister. The House will convene before, because the Clerk of Parliament will read the proclamation sermon in the Houses at 10 a.m.
It is just about 10 a.m.
Yes.
So we're going to witness that in just a bit. We'll have prayers on the inside. The President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House, they'll be responsible for reading the prayers. And the Clerk of Parliament, of course, is going to administer the oath of allegiance to the members of the Senate. So things are afoot. We're getting closer to that time.
Yeah. And we're also getting ready to go over to the proceedings on the inside. The Governor General is here. So now we have our head of state is here. Governor General Dame Cecile Lagrange. Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrange.
Shoulder, arms. Royal salute. Present arms. Honor, shoulder, arms. Order, arms.
Good morning, Your Excellency. I am Frank Ferry, Superintendent of Police, reporting the Guard of Honor formed for the fourth session of the 11th Audit. Guards comprise of members of the Special Service Unit, dressed in 2 ranks, in open order, at the order, awaiting your inspection, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, will you kindly inspect the guards?
Guard of honor. Shoulder arms. Royal salute. Present arms. Of honor, shoulder arms. Order arms. Thank you, Excellency. Standard.
So now, as we did indicate before, the Governor General has arrived. The House has been adjourned, and the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, accompanied by the Clerk of Parliament, they now leave the chamber and proceed to the front of the Parliament building to await the arrival of Her Excellency. As we see, she was met by the Guard of Honor, and now she is proceeding into the chamber. So now we take the broadcast over to the chamber.
Guard of honor. Guard of honor. Shoot. Twice. Sir. That's what I was up to return you soon. No, we're marching back in the back.
Take a position here. Take a position on the back.
FSM.
Sir!
Well, we continue to, now we await the proceedings in the chamber. We see that the Governor General, she has arrived. She is getting ready to go inside. As we have just that little break there, as I believe it's the signing of the distinguished guest book at the front of the Parliament building, because we see that the chair of both the President of the Senate and the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House are vacant together with the other clerks at the front. So we know that they have proceeded to the front of the Parliament building to escort the Governor General into the chamber.
So the order, I think, going in, it should be the Governor General followed by her aide-de-camp,
yes,
her lady in waiting, then the presiding officers and the clerks at the table, and they'll enter into the chamber and begin proceedings.
Yes, and that's also why the sergeant at arms, and so because there will be fanfares on the inside as we await the presentation of today's throne speech.
It is we're seconds away from that big moment.
Yes, we are.
And again, there's a sense of anticipation in the air, and I credit that as to a good thing, because it does speak to the fact that there's something worth looking for, and we've discussed some of what we expect to show up in the throne speech today, and again set the foundation for the 2026 budget, and of course how government is going to move forward. Generally, when the budget is prepared, it's not prepared for 1 year; it's prepared with a 3-year outlook that they call the medium-term outlook. So even in the consultations, we heard presentations on what we expect for 2026, but also what things could look like for 2027, 2028. This is the 4th session of Parliament. Session usually lasts a year, which means we are nearing year 5, which means the next year may be a very big year. So there's quite a bit to look forward to.
Well, as you said, with all the anticipation and the little plans that government has been given us indication of, we recognize that 2026 appears to be a big year. So today's throne speech sets the tone for what to expect for that plan, the fiscal plan going into that big year of 2026. You listen to government ministers, you listen to governments, just the pattern, as so you realize that 2026 is earmarked. You also look at the advertisements, and so you have a number of RFPs outside, requests for interest. Do you have interest, expressions of interest? Also bids, projects, and so that's in the pipeline to start. You recognize that it is going to go into 2026. So you realize 2026 is going to be a big year.
Yeah, I think within the general framework that has been presented by the government through Vision 75, through last year's budget, even the things that are shaping up to be in this year's budget, it's expected that you would see that increase, because there's the adverse realities brought about by Hurricane Beryl does present the opportunity. My licensed clinical and counseling psychologist, Dr.
Grease your pockets with as much as 10 times your Playway with Multi-X winnings. Imagine betting $10 on Playway and in Multi-X for the same value and winning 10 times your prize. That's $2,400 for the small value of $20. You can't go wrong. Only in September 2025. You can win not 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times, but 10 times your winnings. Be sure to bet more on Playway. Add Multi-X and make it a September to remember. Monday to Saturday, 4 times a day. Available in stores and online. Who here? I go tell the others. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. This is the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Pick 3 with Multi-X Mid-Morning Draw. It is Friday, September 12th, 2025. I'm your draw hostess, Leslie Ann Johnson. Supervising the draw this morning is Ms. Dion Francis. She's representing RSO and Company Limited, accountants and advisors. Some information for you. The NLA has added 10X, a new Multi-X ball to play with in September only. Be sure, of course, to add Multi-X to your playway bets for chances of multiplying your playway winnings 3, 5, 7, or even 10 times. Available in stores and online. So a quick reminder, as usual, there are 4 different bet types in this particular game from which you can choose. They're called inline, mix, pair, and backup. It pays to play Daily Pick 3. Have your tickets out and let's see if you are this morning's lucky winner. Good luck to you. Tickets are first number, 2, second number, 0, final number, 3. Okay, so let's recap. The first number is 2, followed by 0. The final is a 3. So let's go for now to our multi-X draw. Multi-X ball is free play. Congratulations to our 74 winners from last evening's draw. Total payout was $21,760. The play draw comes up next. We'll see you soon. Hello once again, this is the National Lotteries Authority's Playway with Multi-X Mid-Morning Draw for today, Friday, September 12th, 2025. I'm your draw hostess, Leslie Ann Johnson. With me once again is Ms. Dion Francis, representing RSO and Company Limited, accountants and advisors. So in September only, when you bet $10 on Playway and add Multi-X to it, you can win as much as 10 times your Playway winnings. In other words, if you bet $10 on Playway, add Multi-X to the bet, you can win $2,400 if 10X is drawn. So in this game, you can bet from $1 up to $10, or you can bet in increments on any number or dream symbol of your choice, and being with a chance to win 24 times the amount you bet, so that is $24, of course, for every $1 spent. Value your dreams and win your way with Playway. Let's see if you are a lucky winner. Good luck to you. Number is 33 and the dream symbol is a centipede. So let's go for now to multi-X draw. Is free play. Congratulations to our 341 winners from last evening's draw. Total payout was $13,848. The daily cash 4 comes up next. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. This is the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Cash 4 with Multi-X Mid-Morning Draw. It is Friday, September 12th, 2025. I'm your draw hostess, Leslie Ann Johnson, and back with me once again is Ms. Dion Francis. She is representing RSO and Company Limited, accountants and advisors. In this game, you can choose any number from 0 to 9 in any of the 11 bet types offered. Tickets cost as little as $1. Backup costs $2. More plays, bigger prizes. Let's play Daily Cash 4. Good luck to you. Let's check your tickets out. First number this morning. 4, second number. 4 as well, next number. 3, final number. 0. So let's recap. The first number is 4, followed by 4. The next number is 3. The final number is 0. So let's go for now to our multi-X draw. So our multi-X ball is free play. We say congratulations to our 5 winners from last evening's draw. The total payout was $900. Remember, add Multi-X to all your Playway bets in September for chances to win as much as 10 times your Playway winnings. Available in stores and online. It will be a September to remember. Continue supporting the National Lotteries Authority. Have a great day.
And Palais Lot. Breaking news! For a limited time only, grease your pockets with as much as 10 times your Playway with Multi-X winnings. Imagine betting $10 on Playway, adding Multi-X for the same value, and winning 10 times your prize. That's $2,400 for the small value of $20. You can't go wrong. Only in September 2025. You can win not 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times, but 10 times your winnings. Be sure to bet more on Playway. Add Multi-X and make it a September to remember. Monday to Saturday, 4 times a day. Available in stores and online. Who here? I go tell the others. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Honourable members, this joint sitting of the Houses is now in session.
Pray be seated. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, Members of Parliament, as we open this new session of Parliament, I am once again reminded of the matchless grace and mercies of Almighty God, whose hand has guided and preserved our beautiful nation over the years, as well as the enduring strength and resilience of our people, who, time and time again, have risen from setbacks and challenges with courage and determination. I am further reminded of the spirit of community that binds us together as Grenadians. Whether in moments of triumph or in times of trial, we stand shoulder to shoulder, proving that no obstacle is greater than the will of a united people. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, Members of Parliament, just over 3 years ago, the wonderful citizens of our nation entrusted my government with a strong mandate. It was not just a mandate to govern, it was a mandate to transform. A mandate to heal what was broken, to restore what was neglected, and to build a society that works better for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The mandate was clear: move Grenada forward. Today, I stand before this honorable House with a simple truth: my government is delivering. We have laid a solid foundation to accelerate our transformative agenda in healthcare, education and skills development, youth empowerment, housing and renewable energy. We have maintained macroeconomic stability and invested heavily in key productive sectors such as agriculture and the blue economy, tourism and the creative and cultural industries, ensuring robust, inclusive, and sustained growth. We pursued a people-centric approach to development, ensuring that no one is left behind. Since assuming office, our economy has grown by an average of 5.1% annually, with the economy on track to expand further by 4.2% this year. This strong growth performance has translated into real opportunities for our people, with the unemployment rate falling from 13.9% in the second quarter of 2022 to a historic low of 9.8% by the first quarter of 2025. Meanwhile, through prudent fiscal management, our public finances have remained in good shape. Added to this, our financial sector remains well capitalized and liquid, contributing to business and investor confidence. These achievements were realized despite major setbacks, most notably the passage of Hurricane Beryl on July the 1st, 2024. Hurricane Beryl was a Category 4 storm, tested our resilience, and demanded of us not just fortitude, but unity. Yet, it has also reaffirmed a deeper truth: that Grenadians do not stand still in the face of adversity. We rise, we rebuild, we advance. Post-Beryl recovery, building back better. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, Hurricane Beryl changed the landscape of our country, literally and figuratively. It devastated homes, infrastructure, livelihoods, and lives. Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and northern Grenada were especially hard hit. But in the face of this catastrophe, the people of this nation have demonstrated unshakable courage, grace, and determination. In just over a year as a nation, we have made substantial progress in not only restoring what was lost, but in building back better. That notwithstanding, there are those who are still hurting. My government emphasizes that all our citizens who continue to be affected by the impact of Beryl, and renews its commitment to providing support to help restore lives and livelihoods and rebuild the economy of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and northern Grenada. A fiscal strategy for recovery, resilience, and transformation. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, my government's fiscal policy for the medium term will reflect both the urgent need of today and the bold ambitions for tomorrow. Guided by the Fiscal Resilience Act of 2023 and the 2026 to 2028 medium-term fiscal framework, my government will adopt a counter-cyclical fiscal strategy. This approach allows for a temporary accommodative stance in 2026, recognizing that reconstruction efforts will extend well into that year. From 2027 onward, a more disciplined and restricted fiscal path will be implemented to safeguard our hard-earned gains and ensure long-term fiscal and debt sustainability. This strategy will ensure that while we are supporting post-disaster recovery, we are also preserving our capacity to invest in economic transformation, social equity, and national resilience. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, the theme for this new session of Parliament is Delivering a Better Future Together. This theme embodies my government's steadfast commitment to honor the trust placed in us by the people of Grenada. It reflects our responsibility to deliver meaningful results today while building on the solid foundation we have laid for a future shaped by our shared vision. Our focus remains fixed on our long-term national vision, Vision 2035, and now Vision 75, which seeks to make Grenada a model of inclusive, sustainable, and prosperous development. Strategic priorities of the new session of Parliament. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, completion of Hurricane Beryl recovery is a top priority for my government. Key initiatives will include completion of the Windward Jetty, new construction or completion of Build Back Better houses in Carrier, Cooperative, Martinique, and on mainland Grenada, the extension of tax relief on building material for reconstruction, the continuation of the Business Reactivation Fund program at the Grenada Development Bank, the rehabilitation of roads and bridges, and the rebuilding of the Dover Government School. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government is making solid progress in advancing its transformative agenda. In this new parliamentary session, my government will redouble its efforts to accelerate the implementation of key policies, projects, and programs under four main pillars, mainly 1, education, skills development and youth empowerment, 2, healthcare, 3, affordable housing, and 4th, renewable energy transition. Education. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, in the area of education, skills development, and youth empowerment, my government has made remarkable progress. Of note is the ongoing work on reforming the curriculum aimed at making education more relevant, practical, and responsive to the current and future needs of a thriving Grenadian society. Other key achievements include expanding scholarship opportunities, upgrading schools' infrastructure, introducing free hot meal program for primary and secondary schools, and the free tuition program for students attending TAMCC and NULO. Legislative priorities included amendments to the Education Act to increase the age of school leaving to 18. In this new session of Parliament, my government will continue its focus on upgrading schools' infrastructure, curriculum reform, integrating ITC into the education system, and improving the overall access and quality of teaching and learning. My government has approved a new digital devices and e-book management policy which sees the government investing in the purchase of military-grade laptops for all approximately 6,000 Form 1 and Form 2 secondary school students. Each laptop costs $1,793, amounting to a total of 10.6 million EC dollars. This is a comprehensive initiative to equip the students with e-books and laptops, creating a foundation for digital literacy and educational advancement across Grenada. My government is also engaged in extensive consultations with stakeholders to produce a new and comprehensive national scholarship strategy. This is aimed at ensuring further and significant investment in our human capital, and in particular our youth, but also to allow adults the opportunity to re-educate, retool, and reskill, given the competitive work environment. It will focus on ensuring that our scholarship opportunities are aligned with our national development priorities, particularly in the areas of healthcare, technical and vocational skills training, hospitality and tourism, agriculture, food security, culture, and the creative and digital economies. My government has already set up a delivery unit with a dedicated permanent secretary on assignment to focus on establishing centers of excellence to address the significant absence of technical and vocational education in Grenada. The team is tasked with, amongst other deliverables, establishing a marine center of excellence and a hospitality center of excellence. My government will therefore begin the process of realigning its budgetary allocation to education to reflect greater emphasis on technical and vocational education and training, TVET, as currently only 3% of its budgetary allocation is spent on TVET. My government will set a target that ensures by 2030, 50% of its budgetary allocation is split between traditional academic education and TVET, including culture, the creative, and digital education space. Regarding the upgrade of schools' infrastructure, several new schools will be built and with others undergoing major rehabilitation, including the Grenada Christian Academy, the St. David's Catholic Secondary School, the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School, and the Florida Government School, among others. Legislative priorities for the new Parliament session include a further amendment to the Education Act to incorporate provisions for school safety and climate resilience. Youth empowerment and sport. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, the Ministry of Youth and Sports marked a successful 2024 to 2025, beginning with the refurbishment of a national cricket stadium. This upgrade enabled Grenada to host the Australia-West Indies Test match, and preparations are now underway for a landmark addition, the Grenada National Aquatic Centre at Queen's Park, to further elevate Grenada's sporting infrastructure. In October, the Ministry will launch a new physical education and coaching program in all primary schools. This two-year initiative aims to develop sports and promote health and wellness among our youth. We proudly salute our national athletes, Sir Karani James, Mr. Anderson Peters, Mr. Lyndon Victor, Ms. Kelsey Morel-Ross, and others, currently preparing for the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. The outstanding performances of our athletes on regional and international stages continue to inspire the nation and reflect the Ministry's commitment to sporting excellence. Looking ahead to 2026, several transformative projects are in progress. The lighting of the Progress Park to international standards for night games and community events, upgrading the lighting at the National Cricket Stadium to host night cricket during the 2026 West Indies Tour, refurbishment of the Lassages playing field, including lighting for training and hosting competitions, upgrade of the Tanti Netball Court, which successfully hosted the 2025 ECCB Netball Tournament. The implementation of the National Policy on Sports and Physical Activity has led to the full activation of parish sports councils, each with a leadership team delivering community programs. These councils are vital to the ministry's grassroots development, a key focus for 2025 to 2026. Regular engagement with council directors will ensure alignment, accountability, and shared purpose. The ministry remains committed to advancing sports nationwide through strong leadership, community dedication, and a collective drive to nurture talent and promote healthy lifestyles. Healthcare. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament. In the area of healthcare, my government remains firmly committed to transforming the Grenadian healthcare system into a first-class model for the benefit of all Grenadians. Over the past 3 years, we have taken significant steps to address the current challenges in the system while keeping in sharp focus our long-term vision to make Grenada the healthcare capital of the Eastern Caribbean. Our quality improvement program at the General Hospital, in collaboration with the Mount Sinai Hospital, is progressing smoothly. We are actively addressing human resource challenges and our inventory system to reduce wastage and ensure a reliable supply of pharmaceuticals and medicines. We are also making significant progress in upgrading our healthcare infrastructure to support delivery at the primary healthcare level. Focus will also remain on improving the capacity of our healthcare professionals, both in terms of the number of doctors, nurses, and support staff. My government has given clear policy directives to fast-track the regularization of our hundreds of nurses who have been left demoralized by the unfair and unequal labor and employment practices meted out to them by the past government. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I wish to assure our hard-working nurses that your government will not leave you behind, as it has not left our teachers, police officers, prison officers, and other government employees behind. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, as recently as 2 weeks ago, the Cabinet gave directives for 33 graduate nurses to be given a 6-month internship and to be paid while doing the internship, ensuring they receive essential hands-on training before being fully commissioned as registered nurses. The days of employing our nurses through grant crease, Madam President, Mr. Speaker, will soon come to an end. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, as we continue to focus on improving human resource capacity and retention in the healthcare sector, we will realign our scholarship policy to significantly increase opportunities across all areas of the healthcare sector. This medium-term strategy aims to address current capacity gaps and strengthen the sector's future workforce. Further, Madam President, Mr. Speaker, If we are to improve on the quality of care, the efficiency of service, and the mandate for accountability and transparency in the delivery of healthcare in Grenada, the existing institutional framework through which healthcare is delivered must be transformed. There is no other option, Madam President, Mr. Speaker. To that end, the government approved the establishment of the Statutorization Transition Team, STT, which became operational in April 2025. The STT is tasked with implementing the provisions of the Hospital Authorities Act of the Revised Laws of Grenada 2010, thereby seamlessly transitioning the operations of 3 existing hospitals, the General Hospital, Princess Alice Hospital, and Princess Royal Hospital, from the Ministry of Health to the Grenada Hospitals Authority within 12 months. It is anticipated that when Project Polaris is commissioned, it will also operate under the auspices of the GHA. The work of the Statutorization Transition Team has commenced in earnest, with several activities being undertaken, including consultation with trade unions that represent workers employed by the Government of Grenada who work at these hospitals and ancillary facilities. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, we wish to assure our workers and their representative trade unions that the transition to statutory body will be in the best interests of not only the workers, but also in the nation's interest, as the current institutional framework is simply incapable of delivering the kind of quality health care that our nation deserves. The working conditions and terms of employment will leave our workers gratified and well compensated. We therefore call upon the trade unions to actively take part in the consultations and the process of statutorization, as it is in the best interests of the workers. Significant strides have been made by the Project Polaris team in concluding negotiations for the financing of the construction of the new smart teaching hospital. We expect these negotiations to conclude before the end of the year. The financing will be via a combination of very concessional debt financing, equity, grants, and donations, and Government of Grenada contribution. The Ministry of Finance has already set aside $25 million as its initial equity contribution to the project. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, the government will also encourage national and diaspora philanthropy towards Project Polaris by opening a bank account, a special bank account at the Ministry of Finance, into which citizens and well-wishers of Grenada can donate towards the construction of the hospital. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I have been asked by the Prime Minister and his cabinet to convey to you that the Prime Minister and his cabinet will lead by example and start this process by donating 1 month's salary before the end of 2025, and thereafter 1 month's salary in each calendar year until Project Polaris is commissioned, towards a cost of construction of Project Polaris. This is being done both as a symbolic and substantive show of our personal and national commitment towards this transformative project, and also to encourage our citizens, friends, and well-wishers at home and abroad to own our hospital and healthcare industry. We encourage all our citizens, friends and well-wishers to contribute whatever you can towards this initiative. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, we will ask the designers of the hospital to include a dedicated space, digital or physical, to honor all donors contributing to this transformative initiative. The preparatory works towards the start of construction of Project Polaris is on schedule. A master site planner has already been retained to do the site planning for the entire 83 acres, as we will develop the site into a world-class medical city. In this session of Parliament, my government looks forward to the commencement of construction work on Project Polaris in 2026, including mobilization and site preparation. Of particular importance, honourable members, is the implementation of the National Health Insurance Plan to ensure that every Grenadian can access quality healthcare services. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government has taken bold steps to expand access to mental health services, reduce social stigma, and integrate mental wellness into our primary healthcare framework. A major milestone in this effort is the commencement of construction work at the Maribor Rehabilitation Centre, a modern patient-centered facility that will provide high-quality care for individuals facing mental health challenges. At the same time, we are advancing new mental health legislation supported by national consultations to modernize our framework, protect the dignity of our citizens, and reduce stigma. Affordable housing. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, affordable housing remains a top priority of my government. Under Phase 1 of Project 500, the pilot project at Dunfermline is well advanced, targeting the construction of 17 model homes. I am pleased to report that construction is approximately 80% complete, supported by major infrastructural upgrades, including roadways, sidewalks, drainage systems, and utility connections. Preparation for Phase 2 is also well underway, with site clearing and development designs finalized. This phase will move forward with the assessment of the pilot's outcomes. To date, an investment of $13.1 million has been committed across both phases. Looking ahead, Project 500 will continue in the new session of Parliament as we expand our efforts to ensure that even more of our citizens can have access to safe, modern, and affordable housing. Renewable energy. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, over the past year, my government has taken bold and deliberate steps to accelerate Grenada's transition to a sustainable and climate-resilient future. We have mobilized hundreds of millions of dollars in grants and concessional financing, laying the foundation for transformative renewable energy projects. We have strengthened our legislative and institutional frameworks to ensure that long-term resilience, and we are building a future where clean energy powers development, protects our environment, and enhances the quality of life for our people. In 2025, Grenada secured an additional £10 million in grant financing from the United Kingdom to support geothermal exploration, alongside approval from the World Bank of 2 major initiatives focused on green buildings and renewable energy infrastructure. The ministry launched the Solar for All initiative to expand access to clean energy, resumed work on the large-scale photovoltaic project in Carriacou, and advanced national energy planning through investment-grade audits. Capacity building was central. Over 60 refrigerant importers were trained, sustainable cooling technologies were introduced, and Grenadians received training in electric vehicle maintenance and sustainability management. We finalized Grenada's cooling roadmap, reformed the National Climate Change Network, and established a national sargassum task force. Significant policy work included updating the National Adaptation Plan, progressing the Environment Management Bill, and preparing for implementation of the Escazú Agreement. Looking ahead to 2026, the ministry will accelerate geothermal development, expand the Solar for All initiative, implement the climate change policy, and update our biodiversity strategy and ecosystem assessment. An ambitious legislative agenda will also be brought forward, including the Environment Bill, the Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Bills, and updated regulations under the Montreal Protocol. These actions will strengthen Grenada's environmental governance, build resilience, and secure a sustainable future for all. Enhancing key productive sectors. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government will continue to invest heavily to expand the key productive sectors to further boost growth and employment opportunities. Agriculture, forestry, and the blue economy. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government remains steadfast in its commitment to strengthening and expanding the contribution of the agriculture, forestry, and blue economy sectors to national development. Despite the severe challenges posed by Hurricane Beryl, we have made important strides in safeguarding rural livelihoods, stabilizing production, and supporting our farmers, fisherfolk, and agro-processors. Emergency relief measures, including cash grants, were swiftly deployed, seedlings and inputs were distributed, and targeted interventions were undertaken to protect critical forest reserves and marine resources. These achievements underscore our determination to ensure that these sectors remain central to economic recovery, sustainable growth, and rural development. Looking ahead, my government will intensify efforts to accelerate recovery and unlock the full potential of those productive sectors. We will prioritize research and innovation, the replanting of our world-renowned spices, the strengthening of livestock production, land tenure regularization, and the expansion of agro-processing industries. Focus will also be placed on enhancing resilience through climate-smart practices, reforestation, and sustainable management of our marine resources. By pursuing these strategies, we will secure food and nutrition security, generate new jobs, and position Grenada as a leader in sustainable agriculture, forestry, and the blue economy. Legislative priorities for the 2025 to 2026 period include the repeal and replacement of the Fisheries Act and amendments to the Forestry Act to include inter alia climate change considerations. Most importantly, my government will take decisive steps to address legal and other deficiencies regarding the U.S. seafood export restrictions that face our nation and other countries early next year. Tourism, the creative economy, and culture. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government recognizes these sectors as key drivers of job creation, entrepreneurship, heritage preservation, and foreign exchange earnings. In the past year, we supported 13 community tourism initiatives, fostering rural economic diversification and empowering local livelihoods. We also launched the Granny Tank Shoreline Trail project designed to enhance visitor safety and enrich the ecotourism experience. Meanwhile, the Grenada Tourism Authority, in close collaboration with the Airlift Committee, has worked assiduously to promote our distinctive tourism brand and expand both regional and international connectivity, ensuring that Grenada remains accessible, attractive, and authentically Caribbean. In the creative economy, 5 new sub-sector associations were established. The historic Priory Building was acquired for the future National Art Gallery, and financing programs, including grants and business support, were expanded. The first National Creative Registry and the National Culture and Creative Industry Strategy were launched, alongside training initiatives like the Music Producers Masterclass. The Division of Culture showcased Grenadian creativity internationally, strengthened cultural education and community programs, and advanced preliminary work for the National Heroes Park. In the new session of Parliament, priorities include expanding sustainable tourism, launching the TAMCC Associate Degree in Culture and Creative Industries, advancing policy and legislative reforms, and completing the Priory Building renovation on Church Street, St. George. Legislative priorities for this parliamentary cycle include introducing creative and cultural industry legislation to strengthen sector governance and streamlining the acts governing cultural entities such as the Cultural Foundation, Spice Mass, and the National Museum. Building a digital economy. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to transforming Grenada into a modern digital economy, one that harnesses the power of technology to not only improve efficiency, transparency, and service delivery, but also as a driver of economic growth and jobs. In the past year, significant progress has been made in enhancing digital skills and capacity across the public sector and wider society. To date, over 540 individuals have been trained, including more than 200 citizens who completed the basic digital literacy program. Public officers have been upskilled in tools such as Microsoft Excel, and educators have been introduced to the integration of artificial intelligence in the classroom. Further, a contract is underway to train data protection officers across 4 key ministries, reinforcing government's commitment to responsible data governance and public sector readiness. private sector is also being actively supported to adapt and grow in the digital age. Training programs and digital content development are empowering small business owners with essential tools, while more than 40 entrepreneurs have received grant funding to build their digital capacities. In the vital area of cybersecurity, my government has launched Grenada's cybersecurity awareness campaign and is making steady progress towards establishing the Cybersecurity Agency facility at Montjulu, which construction is expected to begin before the end of 2025. Added to that, the first cohort of trainees under our digital workforce program has completed their training and have graduated and will begin to receive job placements in the coming months. In this new session of Parliament, my government will continue to advance policies and initiatives that expand digital infrastructure, strengthen cybersecurity, and empower citizens with the skills needed to thrive in a knowledge-based society. From e-government services and digital payments to innovation in education, health, and commerce, the digital agenda will drive greater productivity and opportunity for all Grenadians. Resilient physical infrastructure, transportation, and public utilities. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, Grenada's roads and bridges are the backbone of our economy. Years of underinvestment have left many roads in poor condition and bridges limited to single lanes. To address this, my government is launching a major roads and bridges development, rehabilitation, and maintenance program. Key projects that will be targeted in this new session of Parliament include the Point Celine to Woodlands Road upgrade, the Cliff to Egmont Junction Road rehabilitation, Tempe to Mount Kuma Road improvement, the Mabuya Road reconstruction, and major bridges including Marquis, Mades, Mofendu, and Mount Rich. A strengthened maintenance program will keep our roads safe, resilient, and reliable. In addition, a key reform in the coming year will be the introduction of a risk-based asset management system. This system will enable the creation of a reliable registry of public buildings and critical infrastructure, supporting systematic assessments, timely maintenance, and better informed investment decisions. In the area of transportation, my government is committed to modernizing public transport, improving service, safety, and connectivity for all Grenadians. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, in the area of public utilities, my government will implement new self-generation regulations to support renewable energy, enabling households and businesses to produce, use, and sell clean electricity, advancing Grenada's independence and climate commitments. Furthermore, my government will operationalize the Water Resource Management Unit to support the production and distribution of safe and reliable drinking water. Investing in Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government has made significant strides in the recovery of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique after the devastating impact of Hurricane Beryl, restoring homes, schools, clinics, and critical infrastructure, while supporting farmers, fisher folk, small businesses, and preserving our cultural heritage. Progress has also been made on the long-awaited night landing facility at Lauriston Airport, and which will strengthen connectivity, emergency response, and tourism. In the year ahead, we will advance climate-resilient housing, expand social protection for the most vulnerable, and continue the rehabilitation of roads, ports, and public facilities. Priority will also be given to seed advances and the promotion of climate-smart agriculture, ensuring stronger livelihoods, enhanced food security, and greater resilience for our sister isles. Investing in critical areas: mobilization, implementation, and transformation. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation, and Transformation advanced my government's transformative agenda in the past 12 months through housing recovery and support, with over 120 homes under construction or repair post-Hurricane Beryl, and 90 units delivered under the Special Housing Program. Key infrastructure achievements included 41 new roads, nationwide installation of 938 solar streetlights, removal of over 270 derelict vehicles, and progress on landmark projects such as the Karani James Boulevard and the restoration of Fort George. The ministry also spearheaded critical World Bank-supported initiatives, strengthening Grenada's resilience, advancing the blue economy, enhancing data-driven decision-making, promoting digital transformation, and improving health systems capacity. Public engagement was prioritized through town halls and support to budget consultation. In this new session of Parliament, the Ministry will continue to drive these transformative efforts by focusing on community infrastructure, including rehabilitation of medical stations, small roads, sporting facilities, solar lighting, and community centers. Implementation of World Bank projects will remain central, with key components including coastal protection and flood mitigation under the Grenada Resilience Improvement Project, support for fisheries, agriculture, and coastal asset management under the Unleashing the Blue Economy project, enhancing statistical capacity through the Data for Decision-Making project, digital skills development, cybersecurity, and private sector digital adaptation through the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, and health systems strengthening and emergency preparedness under the OECS Regional Health Project. These efforts will ensure a more resilient, connected, and sustainable Grenada for all. Sustainable development and planning. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, over the past year, my government has strengthened its commitment to sustainable economic growth, social resilience, and financial stability. Strategic initiatives have been implemented to enhance public sector capacity, advanced climate resilience and social protection projects totaling $38 million, and to ensure efficient management of the public sector investment program. Significant community development under the Basic Needs Trust Fund, BNTF, Cycle 10 was achieved, including the completion of the Bonaire Bridge, ongoing work on the refurbishment of St. Dominic's RC School Block 5, and the expansion of the Victoria School for Special Education. Building on this project, BNTF Cycle 11 has been approved with a $5.4 million grant to continue supporting community-led development initiatives. The Climate Smart Agriculture and Rural Enterprise Program, CEAP, reached over 4,500 beneficiaries, providing vocational training, business development support, climate-smart agricultural practices, and grants to strengthen livelihoods and resilience. Looking ahead to the new parliamentary session, my government will implement the Resilience Integration Program for Environmental Sustainability, a bold initiative to support rural enterprise cooperatives, climate-smart practices, and resilience building across our communities. The rollout of BNTF Cycle 11, alongside continued investment in climate-smart agriculture, fisheries, and rural development, will further reinforce our commitment to sustainable and inclusive growth across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Advancing public service excellence through performance management and regularization. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government remains steadfast in its commitment to transformation, modernization, and excellence in governance, with the public service at the heart of national development. Guided by the principles of responsiveness, ethics, professionalism, and citizen focus, we are advancing a bold transformation agenda through the Department of Public Administration. Key achievements in the past year. We have made significant progress in the regularization exercise, addressing disparities in job security, compensation, and professional mobility. Hundreds of officers have been confirmed in positions with salary adjustments exceeding $18 million paid. We have operationalized the integrated performance management system, aligning employee work plans with national priorities, promoting continuous engagement, reinforcing professionalism, applying the SMART framework, and introducing recognition for excellence. We have led the introduction of the new defined contribution pension plan for government employees who previously did not qualify for a government pension. We have also completed the long-standing pay and grade adjustment exercises for our hardworking and dedicated police officers. Looking ahead in the new parliamentary session, my government will complete the regularization exercise, fostering equity, stability, and improve morale across the public service, institutionalize the IPMS across all levels, embedding a culture of accountability and excellence, support the administration of new defined contribution pension plan, revise and modernize human resource policies, staff orders, and the public service reform strategy, operationalize the employee assistance program to enhance worker well-being. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, in the year ahead, my government will strengthen results-driven leadership, expand digital services, and scale national cybersecurity training. Central to this effort will be the Digital Transformation Agency Bill, which will modernize governance, safeguard our systems, and ensure faster, more efficient services, making government more transparent, resilient, and focused on improving the lives of every Grenadian. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, through these reforms, the public service will continue to be modern, accountable, and people-centered, serving as a trusted partner in building a sustainable, equitable, and prosperous Grenada. Strengthening social protection and advancing gender equity. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government remains steadfast in its commitment to strengthening social protection and ensuring that no citizen is left behind. Over the past 3 years, my government has acted decisively to cushion our people from the negative impacts of global shocks that continue to affect the prices of goods and services in our domestic economy. Through a combination of strategic interventions, my government has protected household welfare while safeguarding national stability. These include the adjustment to minimum wage, which was left untouched for more than a decade, the completion of wage negotiations and settlement of a 13% salary increase for government workers, a 36% reduction in the petrol tax, an introduction of a $10 electricity subsidy for over 20,000 households, the removal of value-added tax on more than 20 basic food items and other essential commodities, as well as a transport subsidy to keep the cost of public transportation down. These measures have played an important role in tempering the effects of domestic inflationary pressures, by putting more monies in the hands of ordinary Grenadian families. At the same time, my government continues to ensure that the benefits of national progress are shared equitably. Gender equity is now a guiding principle in all projects and programs, ensuring that women, men, and vulnerable groups are empowered and supported in equal measure. This approach strengthens the fabric of our society, deepens fairness, and expands opportunities for all. Ensuring citizen safety and public order. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, the safety of our people remains a cornerstone of national development. Over the past year, my government has strengthened the pillars of national security, enhancing the capacity of our police force, improving prison management, and modernizing our immigration system. These efforts have contributed to keeping crime levels low and ensuring that Grenadians can live and work in peace. My government has also begun to address long-standing occupational safety and health challenges in our police facilities. Several police stations have been rebuilt, including securing a new headquarters for the Royal Grenada Police Force, giving our officers safer and more modern environment in which to serve. At the level of our prisons, my government has prioritized training and rehabilitation programs aimed at preparing inmates for reintegration into the society, with a focus on reducing reoffending. Looking ahead, Cabinet has already approved the purchase of a new Coast Guard vessel at an estimated cost of $20 million to strengthen our maritime security and border protection. My government will also continue its work to rehabilitate and repair police stations across the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, while deepening community policing, expanding prison rehabilitation, and applying new technologies to enhance security operations. Our objective is clear: to safeguard Grenada's low crime status, to maintain peace and order, and to guarantee that every citizen and visitor enjoys the protection and tranquility that our nation deserves. More details on the strategic priorities and expected outcomes for 2026 will be provided during the 2026 budget presentation. Foreign Affairs and Trade. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, my government will continue to pursue a principled foreign policy that strengthens regional and international partnerships through the OECS, CARICOM, CELAC, the ACS, and the wider Commonwealth, while deepening cooperation with traditional allies and forging new ties across Latin America, Africa, Asia, and beyond. We will champion urgent climate action, fairer trade and finance, and use economic diplomacy to expand export markets, modernize trade facilitation, and secure greater opportunities for Grenadian goods, services, and people to thrive globally. In this effort, we reaffirm our enduring commitment to the Grenadian diaspora, whose skills, investments, and cultural contributions remain vital to our national development. Other legislative priorities. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, before I conclude, allow me to briefly highlight a few additional legislative priorities that will shape our national agenda in the coming months. 1. Amendment to the Banking Act to inter alia promote responsible financial conduct and enhance consumer protection, including regularization of fees and charges. 2. Age of Legal Civil Responsibility Amendment Act, Liberties Amendment. 3. Modernize the Labor Code to better support industrial peace and harmony and to safeguard workers' rights, including elevating occupational safety and health standards. Conclusion. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, as we chart the course for the year ahead, my government reaffirms its unwavering commitment to responsible leadership, strategic vision, and inclusive governance. The decisions we make today, the policies we advance, and the sacrifices we make must be rooted in a deep and enduring love for this nation and its people. Let us rebuild not only the structure damaged by disaster, but the systems, institutions, and values that define our core values and development path. Let this new session be one of continued progress, courage, and unity. May we serve our people with compassion, competence, and vision. It is therefore my distinct honor to declare the fourth session of the 11th Parliament of Grenada open. May God continue to bless and protect our nation.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion. Be it resolved that the Honourable Houses of Parliament record their thanks for the most gracious address delivered today by delivered today to the Houses by Her Excellency the Governor General, and be it further resolved that the debate on the address be deferred to a date to be named.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, Madam President, I rise. I wish to associate the Senate with the sentiments of the motion.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I second the motion by the Leader of Government Business in the Senate.
Your mic is on. Now remember, your mic is still on. Sorry. Honourable members of the House of Representatives, the question is that the Honourable Houses of Parliament record their thanks for the gracious address delivered today to the Houses by Her Excellency the Governor General. Be it further resolved that the debate on the address be deferred to a date to be named. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Of an opposing view say no. The ayes have it. Indeed, the ayes have it.
Honourable members of the Senate, the question is that the Honourable Houses of Parliament record their thanks for the gracious address delivered today to the Houses by Her Excellency the Governor General. Be it further resolved that the debate on the address be deferred to a date to be named. All those in favour say aye. Aye. And those opposed say nay. The ayes have it.
All sit. Honourable Prime Minister.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the adjournment of the Houses indefinitely.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I wish to associate the Senate with the sentiments of the motion.
Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I wish to second the motion made by the Leader of Government Business in the Senate.
Honourable members of the House of Representatives, the question is that the House be adjourned sine die. All those with that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it indeed. The ayes have it.
Honourable members of the Senate, the question is that the Senate be adjourned sine die. All those who are of that opinion say aye. Aye. And of the contrary opinion say nay. Well, the ayes have it.
These honourable houses are now adjourned.